Welcome back to Turf Talk, DQ edition. Vance, a blizzard of activity as people discuss the Beverly D, as always with a grade 1 disqualification. Seems to happen a lot at Arlington International, especially. Secret Gesture taken down. What do you think?
I think the disqualification was probably justified. She did move out into the path of Stephanie's Kitten. She did seemingly prevent Stephanie's Kitten from getting second place there, which necessitated the DQ. But what's the chances being elevated? She was only the second best filly in the race. At best. Yeah. And it's just very unfortunate that a race of that stature and importance had to be decided in the steward's room. Right,
decided in sort of a winner by default, and I understand the letter of the rule, and as you said, sort of had to come down based on that, so you really can't fault the decision, but share your frustration. I mean, personally, I backed Secret Gesture, was my top pick. I've been on the other side of it too, so I have, no complaints. That's part of the game, and I'm definitely aware that, that's what happens when you bet on racing. But I do wish there was some sort of, resolution where if the best horse wins and no one else was going to win that race, that they get the win for parimutuel purposes and then find the jockey, do what you need to do purse-wise. But, that just was not the outcome that played out on the track.
Yeah, and I can't be an objective observer in this either. I had Secret Gesture in my pick threes. I was eliminated from my horizontal exotics with What's the Chances being elevated. I didn't like her. I thought she was pretty much exposed on her form last year and earlier this year, but she did seem to relish the soft conditions, as did Stephanie's Kitten. But you're right, Secret Gesture was the best horse on the day, and it's just unfortunate she can't go back to Europe now with the grade 1 win to her credit.
Yeah, and it's a catch-22 a little bit because, we asked for consistency in the steward stand, and honestly, I think we got that here. There was an infraction, they took the horse down, and, sort of wanting to add a variable of deciding would the horse have won and who is the best horse, honestly, just leaves too much conjecture up to, 3 people above the track, and that's probably not ideal either long term. But this clearly just it wasn't a satisfying outcome for, to me. Secret Gesture ran the best race, and Stephanie's Kitten looked like she'd get to her, and she wouldn't have even with the infraction, but it did cost her second, and that's the rule.
Yeah. And this is the second time that jockey Jamie Spencer has been snake bitten at Arlington. He was disqualified infamously over a decade ago aboard Powers Court in the Arlington Million. He was easily the best horse in that race, and for him to be disqualified back to whatever it was, fourth place or whatever, that was a travesty of justice, kind of in that situation. This one, the Beverly D was a little bit more closer and probably a bit more justified, but still, Jamie Spencer, as good of a jockey he is, hasn't created the best. What should you say?
He hasn't endeared himself to his backers.
Thank you very much.
I bet Antonius Pius in the 04 mile, and an inexplicable ride that gave Singletary the victory, and it was a rough 04 for Jamie Spencer, and seems to have carried over 11 years later. So as dissatisfying for some as the Beverly D was with Secret Gesture's DQ, a satisfying million. One of those races, I did like the Pizza Man, but just I think even if you didn't bet him, especially if you were there live, to be a part of that celebration for the Illinois bred for the biggest race of the year at Arlington was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine how more popular it could have been at Arlington with, like you said, an Illinois bred winning the biggest race in the state. It was a perfect storm for the Pizza Man. There was a deluge a couple hours before post time. The race turned into a stamina test, no doubt about it, and of course, the Pizza Man, despite any class deficiencies some of us thought he had going into that race, he was used to running a mile and a half, mile and 11/16 in previous starts, and he just happened to be the one that had the most stamina on the day. I don't think the rest of the field didn't have the best chance of winning, considering the course conditions, but all kudos to the Pizza Man, and still couldn't have taken him at 5-1. Unfortunately,
No, that ended up being a little short. I admit 10 to 1 is where I wanted to be. But really, a Hollywood script ending. Ken Ramsey playing villain. He entered the rabbit. He said in the papers before the race the Pizza Man didn't belong, and lo and behold, Pizza Man beats out his Big Blue Kitten, who was second, Shining Copper third, ran a great race on the lead to stay on there and beat up with the Birds for that position. Where are you on owners running smack? Is it a gentleman's game, or are we at the point now where racing should try to, get a little ink with these types of comments?
I think in general it's still so rare that when something like this does occur, like you said, Ken Ramsey came out and said that the Pizza Man didn't belong in this race. He belonged in the American St. Ledger
Right.
earlier in the card. I think it's okay. I kind of felt the same way going into the race. I tweeted that to you on
Right.
Saturday morning. So yeah, we've got a little bit of egg on our face, but Ken Ramsey is known to being a great handicapper, and he's won a lot of money, and sometimes he sees things
Sure.
on the past performances that he truly believes, and sometimes we're wrong, but oftentimes we're right in our observations about that.
Yeah, the owner of the Pizza Man said he took it personally, and I felt bad for that. I mean, he was taking a shot, putting up his money to put the horse in that race, but knowing Ramsey as we do, maybe a little better than an Illinois-based person would, that's just kind of what he thought, and he was having fun with it, and it bit him, and he took the victory in stride. I know he congratulated the connections, etc. So to me, sort of a happy ending, obviously, with the winner, but I liked it. I mean, I thought it added some intrigue to a race that, did have the right horses, but this division certainly has lost some luster with Main Sequence done and Wise Dan on the bench. So added some excitement, and we'll see where the Pizza Man and Big Blue Kitten go from here. Maybe they'll rematch in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, and it would be great for the connections of the Pizza Man if he can show this kind of form outside of Arlington. It didn't work out so well at Del Mar and Woodbine last year, but now he's in peak form at his advanced age, and let's see what he can do beyond Arlington.
All right, yeah, we'll see what happens there, and we'll talk to you next week. Maybe we'll have a filly beating the boys to discuss after the Pacific Classic, Travers Week. A lot going on next week. Join us then.